Last one for you. Put you in another position that you've been in your life. Super Bowl MVP on going to yet another team and needing to either mentor or push or displace a highly drafted quarterback. Yours was Matt Leinart. Now I'm talking about Nick Foles showing up in Chicago. Chicago. It's amazing. 1 year after he was a huge free agent signing in Jacksonville, hitting the jackpot for him, well-deserved.
Yeah.
Now he's traded for a fourth-round compensatory pick on the next new league year to Chicago. What in the world do you think Nick Foles' role is in Chicago right now?
Well, fascinating, because they've got a great situation, I think, for Nick Foles. Nick Foles, to me, I'm not sure he's the guy that, made the $30 million. I'm not sure he's the guy that you go, here, go throw the ball 35, 40 times for us and win games for us with your right arm. That's never really been him. He's been a good leader. He's been able to manage games extremely well. For whatever reason, he's a leader. He's able to get the best out of the team around him. So it fascinates me with the Chicago team. It's got a great defense, is going to be in most games, and they need a guy to come in and lead, make the plays they're supposed to make, not have to do anything special. Yet they've got this young quarterback that they, went up and got and put a lot into, that's really struggled. I think this is really going to be one of those situations where I think you find out a lot about players when you bring a guy in to look over their shoulder that everybody knows can play, everybody knows is a leader, to see how you respond to that. What is Mitch Trubisky going to do? I believe he goes in as the starter, but I think Nick is going to push him in every way, shape, or form, and just more than anything, be a presence right there to say, hey, you mess up, I got this. I got this and I can run with this. And so I think we're really going to see who Mitch Trubisky is. This is one of those things that can either catapult guys forward and allow them to become a competitor and learn how to play at this level, or guys shrink and they worry about every mistake and they worry about every throw and it starts to eat them up. And I really think that's what Chicago said, is that we're going to bring in a guy that we know we can win with and we know that can lead our organization. We still want Mitch to be that guy, but we are going to put the pressure on him to see which way he goes.
Well, that's the one thing, and I'll just ask, then we'll end it with this, is what does it mean push? Because if he was the second overall selection that they wanted him to be, he wouldn't need to be pushed. They wouldn't have to bring in somebody to push him, right? Isn't this some sort of admission that it's not working out? What does that mean by push?
No, right. No, I don't think there's any question. It's an indication that it's not working the way they want it to work. But as I said, there's times when you're in a situation where you kind of know you're the guy. And regardless of what happens, you look behind you and you go, they're not giving the reins to that guy. That's not the guy that's going to lead them into the future. Not that the player behind me isn't good, but that's not what's going to happen. And so you can get that, sense of security where it's kind of like, I got this, no matter if I screw up or whatever. Pushing to me is going, okay, we just brought somebody in to let you know that is not the case anymore. We just brought in a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl champion that came in as a backup and led his team to the Super Bowl. This is it. This is your chance to prove it. And I don't believe he's got a very long leash now. Whereas I believe the past couple years, because of how it played out, and more importantly, who the guy was behind him, that he knew and everybody knew, we just got to go down this path and we got to see we're going to take what we get, but we have nowhere else to go. Now Chicago's saying we got somewhere else to go and we want it to be him and they don't want to be wrong, but at the same time, they've got a backup plan. And that to me is pushing that. Again, every throw that Mitch makes in training camp is going to be weighed against everything that Nick Foles does. And Mitch knows that. And that's to me, it's the fascinating part when you get in there is, what do you do in those situations? When you screw up, can you let that go and not worry about what's behind you and make the next throw? Or does one bad throw turn to a next, and it starts to show who you're probably going to be under those pressure situations?